But
Yeah.
we were talking about Sasha Banks,
Thanks.
now Mercedes Moné, making her way over there into New Japan as the new IWGP champion. But you know what, Book? There's been some chatter on the internets um, about a certain individual, and that's Kenny Omega. Have you
Yeah.
seen all this stuff about Kenny Omega?
Kenny Omega maybe jumping ship, maybe coming to WWE. I've been hearing all kinds. Hey, look here, I'm not saying that. I'm not an official scout or anything for the company or anything like that. But I've heard, just like everybody else, I actually read some of the stuff just like everybody else, that Kenny Omega, maybe jumping ship. His contract is coming up. Um, Not sure how happy he is over there. Yeah, it's a lot of talk right now, man. And Kenny Omega he's a guy that's he'll be a free agent, highly sought. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I mean the news has been WWE is actively pursuing right through back channels and trying to, now that's all rumor and innuendo and hearsay, but it's, I mean, it'd be silly to say that WWE doesn't want Kenny Omega. Obviously, if he's available, they're at least going to have a conversation, right, and see if the two sides would like to meet. Because I know Kenny Omega said before it's all said and done, he would love to have that WrestleMania moment with AJ Styles. He's been saying that for years. And you can't have a WrestleMania moment with AJ Styles in AEW. But here's how I frame it. If Kenny, say he does leave and he signs with WWE, is that a death nail for AEW to have a second EVP leave within 2 years? Or is it a big shot that they can recover from?
Of course, they can recover from it. They're going to have to really, really, put blinders on and stop thinking about WWE. I think if they are to survive, first and foremost, but losing someone like Kenny Omega, that would be a big loss. Um, that would be huge. It really would. Just because he was one of those guys who put that thing all together. He was one of the brains behind, AEW, along with, the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes. I don't think it was a bigger name than, Kenny Omega, especially as far as what Kenny Omega was doing in Japan at that time. Kenny Omega was the hottest, guy in the group, I think, name recognition wise at that time after Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? So to lose someone like Kenny Omega, it would be huge. It really would be. Yeah.
Oh, it would be massive. I agree with you. I think that they can recover from it, but
Oh yeah.
if he leaves, but I guess the question is, what does that say to the locker room, right? Like, it would give me pause
Look,
if
man.
two of the
Look.
founders.
The thing you was talking about just a second ago, you said Kenny Omega would love to have a match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania, right? Isn't that what you just said?
Right.
And
That's
the
what he's
thing
been
is,
saying
and
for a
the
long
thing
time.
is, how many times have I said it, man? If you're a young guy in this business, if you're a young guy that loves to go out there and perform and work in front of the fans and give the fans that ultimate feeling. Um, if you don't work at WrestleMania, throughout your career, you've missed out on something. You've missed out on something big. You've missed out on something that you would remember for the rest of your life. WrestleMania is not like any other show that any other wrestling company can put on at this time. AEW, as big as they are, as much money as they have, the shows that they put on is nothing like WrestleMania. If you're a guy in this business, if you got in this business and didn't think one day and hope to be on that stage one day, man, I don't know, something ain't right. Something we're in a different stage. That's what the social media world has come into play, to where guys don't think that they want to be on that stage one time. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, just for me, to make the walk from a commentary perspective, it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? To have that rumble feeling, that it was overwhelming, and you're not going to get that anywhere else. So I can understand why Kenny Omega would want to mix it up with AJ Styles, two of the best at what they do at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all. It will be an awesome, awesome sight, and he will remember that day for the rest of his life.
It is interesting as guys tend to wind down. Let's say Kenny Omega, because last I heard he was supposed to be a free agent at the end of this month. Now, I'm sure AEW is doing everything they can to re-sign him, make him happy, whatever they got to do, and it'd be smart. I'm sure he can negotiate quite the salary with them over there. But it is something about the guys all wanting to have that WrestleMania moment. It can't go understated. I mean, Sting came in just so we could feel what that WrestleMania would feel like. AJ Styles was a guy who came in from TNA and New Japan to feel like what that WrestleMania was going to feel like. It can't be understated. That is the biggest, more than the brand, more than the television deals and the sponsorship opportunities and the Mountain Dew pitch black matches or the Papa John sponsorships. The biggest thing WWE has in its favor always will be, hey man, we can put you on WrestleMania.
And the money is great, on working in WrestleMania. The money's great, but I really don't think the money and the experience equal out. Because the experience you get from that right there, the feeling that you get from those fans, Texas Stadium, just say for instance, 100,000 people. Just imagine there's 100,000 people there, to support those two guys in that 20 by 20. It's not like a football field or anything. It's a 20 by 20, and you got 100,000 people surrounded to see that. Man, that's a feeling that you cannot explain. You can't describe it. And for a young guy getting in a Kenny Omega to perform and I know he's performed in front of big crowds over in Japan, Wrestle Kingdom, whatnot. It has the same somewhat feel as a WrestleMania, you know what I mean? But you don't get a chance to really compare the two until you actually do both of them. And when you do both of them, I'm serious. You go, oh, wait a minute, that was awesome, but this is a trip. You know what I mean? So yeah. Hopefully, you'll get a chance to do it.
WrestleMania captures you in such a way to where even last year at WrestleMania 38, I was lucky enough to be in the press box for the show both nights, and this is a room full of grown men and women who are there doing professional jobs, right? And even then, when the WrestleMania moments happen, you're getting a big pop from everybody in the press room, right? Everyone's standing up and applauding and taking photos through the glass with their phones. Like, it brings you to being a fan again, an event like WrestleMania. It really, the magic of that event really cannot be understated. It really can't be,
That's why that's why I say that when I say, the young guys that say, I don't never want to go to WWE. Man, you just don't know what you're missing. If you ever make it to that level where you own the card, you're chosen to be on the card at WrestleMania. That right there is something that, like I say, you'll remember for the rest of your life, just one time.
Let me ask you this. I know we're getting close to wrapping the show up, but let me ask you this. Okay, there's rumors of Kenny Omega maybe coming to WWE. He would, without a doubt, be a big draw and a big coup for the office to get them. But do you think that there would be any influence on his decision by the way that they have treated his former AEW EVP? Do you think Kenny Omega sits there and says, can I stay in AEW or do I go to WWE? And then they look at how they've treated Cody Rhodes since his return to WWE. This is an AEW founding member who came over, put in a big match at WrestleMania, wins 3 pay-per-views in a row over Seth Rollins, one of their biggest stars, goes off for injury, comes back, wins the Royal Rumble, is now going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. I have to think that, some of the guys in AEW, Kenny Omega included, say, oh, you know what? They treat us pretty good over there. They treat these AEW guys pretty good. We don't have to worry about any issues there.
Yeah, that brings me to perhaps what Mike Tyson said, in an interview just last week. He said, I'd rather go to WWE, even though they pay more money in AEW.
He said that?
Yes.
I did not see that. So he's talking about like doing an appearance?
Yeah, he said even though they pay more money in AEW, I'd rather go to WWE. And the reason why is because you're going to be made a bigger star in the long run with WWE. I don't know how many years Kenny Omega have left, in the ring, doing this. And the one thing you're always thinking about is your star. That's what I mean. I would be thinking about. I can't say these guys. You got to be thinking about your star, and WWE is going to make Kenny. I mean, I don't want to say if he's coming there or anything, but WWE would make Kenny Omega's star shine brighter than any other place he ever could be in. Let's just put it like that. All right, and if he was to come over, it would be a great move for him in the long run because that's what this thing is all about. Being able to, action figures, merchandise, marketing, all of that stuff. I think Kenny Omega, his star is bright right now, but I just think, man, he would be so much bigger. One WrestleMania match, one WrestleMania highlight moment would put Kenny Omega in, a stratosphere that he's never been in. Seriously.
Completely agree. I know we have a few seconds left on the show. Just want to give a shout out to Eddie Kane Main with the super sticker. And tonight with Bruce Martin says, can I get one of those famous shucky ducky quack quacks?
Shucky ducky quack quack. And we got to take this mug home, man. Hey, man, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today. Getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, man. It's going to be like this every time. And when I say every time, I mean every time. But right now, Bradley, I appreciate you as always. We got to get out of here. I got NXT going down tomorrow night. Like Roddy Piper said, be there, be square, babe. We out of here. We all at you.